Good evening, bipeds. It is Stephen Sashen, co-founder and chief barefoot officer from Xero Shoes, here for our monthly Ask Me Anything. It's the holiday version of Ask Me Anything. I should have had like reindeer horns or jingle bells or something else. Anyway, so if you're new to what's going on here, this is an Ask Me Anything, which means you can ask me anything about barefoot running, minimalist shoes, barefoot shoes, what's the difference between the two, how to make the transition to natural movement, the benefits of going into, getting out of a shoe that looks like this and into something that, maybe looks more like that, or what I'm making for dinner, kind of whatever you want. And what happens is I will see, wait, I got to look for it. I will see your comments over there on my screen. And so when I'm looking over there, now you know why. And then I will respond to them. If you're not watching this live, that's cool. You can still put your comments in wherever though, putting comments on the thing you're watching this on, and somebody will see them over there, someone from our customer happiness team, and they will respond to you. So, hold on. Ginger has made a comment. I'm going to respond to that just to show this live. She says, I've been wearing the Hana for almost 10 years. Still love it. Sad that it's no longer on the website. Will it come back or is it gone for good? I don't know, actually. The way you can find that out is email our customer happiness team. Their email is down there, support@xeroshoes.com. I know there are a couple of products that people have said that they're wearing instead of the Hana that maybe you will find and enjoy as well. But I can't, we have like 70 different styles of casual and performance shoes, boots, and sandals for pretty much everything you could do. And to be completely candid, I have lost track of what all of them are. And if you ask me the prices, I definitely don't know that. So, but drop them in a line. And while I'm here, if you have any suggestions or requests or feedback, you can also see right down there, xeroshoes.com/feedback would be the place to go to then submit those questions and requests, et cetera, or those requests and whatever. Yeah, you got the idea. Feedback. So also just a reminder, if you're in the EU, go to xeroshoes.eu. In the UK, xeroshoes.co.uk, and everywhere else, xeroshoes.com. Now, for those of you who are new here, let me do the world's fastest explanation for why we're here doing what we're doing, why people, my gosh, over 2 million of them around the world have said that what we're doing is life-changing. I swear, if you look in our reviews, you'll see that phrase a surprisingly large number of times, things like that. So first things first, a little bit of biology trivia. Did you know, I don't know how you're going to answer. Did you know that you have a quarter of the bones and joints of your entire body in your feet and ankles? Those joints are meant to move those bones. And if you can't let them move and, flex and step one out, that's for balance, agility, mobility. If that doesn't work, then that function about balance, agility, mobility moves up into your ankle, your knee, your hip, and your back, which aren't wired for that. Even more, they're not wired to feel when you're not using your feet correctly and sending force into your joints. So by the time you're feeling things in your knee and your hips, for example, it's already because you've been, messing them up for quite a long time. So letting things move is thing number one. That's an important thing to do. Thing number two, here's another trivia fact, that you have more nerve endings in the soles of your feet than anywhere pretty much except your fingertips and your lips, so that your brain can feel what's happening at the other end of your body, those things at the end of your legs, so it knows how to help you move effectively and efficiently and enjoyably across whatever terrain you're on. So our job here at Xero Shoes is to help your feet do their job, bending, flexing, moving, feeling, so the rest of your body can do its job. So how do we do that? Well, for one, we make our shoes, instead of being pointy, we make them with a wider foot-shaped toe box so your toes don't get squeezed together. Instead of elevating your heel, which messes with your posture, we have a zero drop or non-elevated heel. Instead of having toe spring, which means you can't get your toes flat on the ground, these shoes can be flat. Instead of being stiff, where those bones and joints can't move correctly, Xero Shoes are super, super flexible. Now, let's be clear, if your foot is doing this, get to an emergency room as soon as humanly possible. What else? Oh my gosh, the soles are designed, instead of having so much stuff in between you and the ground that your brain can't feel anything. And here's a weird fact. When your brain feels less, it often makes you land harder to try to get some information. And again, if you're like landing on your heel and not using your foot properly, that force is then going up into your joints, your ankle, your knee, your hip, and your back. So the soles on Xero Shoes, they're give you grip and traction and protection, but also thin enough to give your brain that feedback that it's looking for to help you move effectively, efficiently, and enjoyably. And if you want more or less barefoot feeling, oh, I don't have one in here. Most of our shoes, well, all of our shoes have I can do it. A removable, like 2 to 3 millimeter insole or sock liner. So if you want that little bit of protection, cool. If you want that barefoot feeling, you can remove that. And all of our shoes are meant to be able to be worn that way. And last but not least about the sole, 5,000 mile sole warranty. So these things are designed to wear out in as little as 150 miles. Some people, for some shoes, they say like 3 to 500, but look at this one, tiny bit of rubber and then just foam. That just wears out really quick. So we back our shoes with a material we designed called our Feel True rubber, and all of our Xero shoes are backed with that 5,000 mile sole warranty. And last but not least, they're really lightweight. Perfect for travel. They can pack flat or you can roll them up, of course. And we've literally had people say they went to bed still wearing their Xero shoes because they forgot they had them on. So that's what we're doing here. And like I mentioned, with 70 different styles of casual and performance shoes, boots, and sandals that people wear for everything from taking a walk on the beach to, hiking your favorite trail, to climbing Kilimanjaro, to playing professional basketball in the NBA and WNBA. So, okay, some things came in today, which says, hello, hi, folks. I'm saying hi back. Can I comment on everything out of stock for a year? I'm not sure what you mean, but I can't comment on what's out of stock because I don't have all that info in my head about what's in or out of stock at the moment. If it's on the website and your particular size and color is out of stock, there's usually a little place you can put in your email to hear about when those might be coming back. Willie Pearson says, nice for the ladies. I'm not sure why or which thing you're referring to. By the way, when your comments come in like in real time, if I don't see them and respond in real time and my brain has gone on to the next thing that I'm saying or thinking about, the odds of my remembering what you're commenting on is pretty close to zero. I'm just going to kind of free flow mode when I do this. So once again, questions, comments, etc. I'm thinking of things that I want to comment on something that is blowing my mind. I wonder, is there a way that I can share this? There probably is, but I don't know how to do it. Anyway, there's some really interesting things coming out from a major footwear brand in about 3 weeks. And it's a product that I'm not going to drop the name. It's a product, though, something that's out of stock for almost a year. That's what, can I comment on that? No, because I don't know what product you're referring to, and I won't have that information in my head. So the best thing to do, that's from InSpeed9100, send an email to support@xeroshoes.com, ask them about that particular shoe. And if it's a whole style that's out of stock, that's one thing. If it's a size and or color combo, that's another thing. If you tell me what it is, I may have some info, but no promises now. But definitely, if you write to our customer happiness team at support@xeroshoes.com, they will be able to help you. So anyway, this big company is coming out with a product where, I swear to God, in their advertising, they say other shoes. Wait, I'm going to look it up so I can repeat this because it's just too funny. I'll even tell you who it is now that I think of it. But so Nike is coming out with a product. It's their Nike Mind product. And what they say is other shoes block sensation. Nike Mind technology amplifies it. Now, let's mention a couple things really quickly. Nothing will amplify sensation. You feel what you feel. To amplify it would mean something that is adding energy to the system. Not happening. Also, the other shoes that block sensation, I would argue all of theirs and every major shoe company as well. You'll also see if you go and check out this product, it's like this thick. So it has like little balls in the sole, like 22 little balls to help you feel something when you're stepping on it. But there's only 22 balls, none of them like near the toes. And they say it's, well, anyway, but instead of having like 22 little things where you're getting some sensation through a giant thick thing that doesn't let your foot bend and flex and move, you can, have your foot get sensation from everywhere and deal with it appropriately. Anyway, it blows my mind. And I couldn't be happier because after 16 years of us telling this story, the large companies are starting to come along for the ride and realize that letting your feet bend, flex, move, and feel is a real thing. They're not going all the way there. I was just at a big trade show and another major company has a shoe that shows that it does this, which is really cool because it has like flex grooves, diagonal flex grooves, but it's still this much foam, elevating your heel and pointy toes. So it's blowing my mind. And at the same time, I'm loving the fact that major footwear brands are starting to basically say, yeah, this is for real. We just can't go all the way there. Ginger says, Stephen, I'm overweight and starting to take walks in my neighborhood, which is concrete and asphalt. What do you recommend? Walking in our shoes. if you want a little extra protection, then I'd recommend something like the HFS2, which has a little bit more. That's one of our road and trail runners. But the reality is, I've walked for 20 miles a day in Manhattan in our sandals and in this, our thinnest shoe, which only has like 4.5 mil of rubber underneath between you and the ground. And not a problem, because what's going to protect you, what's going to help you is actually using your body correctly, is landing with your feet under your center of mass and letting your muscles, ligaments, and tendons do their job. So what you don't want to do is reach your foot out in front of your body. Oh, why did my video just freeze? Holy smokes. With a really great, yeah, wait, that's really hysterical. I'm frozen in this bizarro thing, and I don't know how to fix that. Let's see if I can do this really quick. Hold on one sec. I'm going to disable my camera and start it again. Let's see if that works. Fingers crossed. And oh, cool. Now I have no video at all. That is amazing. Wait, I want to see if I can switch to a different camera and make that work. My apologies for technical glitches. And then I'll come back to your, oh, and suddenly here we are. No clue what just happened. Okay, so back to you, Ginger. So what you don't want to be doing is landing with your foot way in front of your body. So you're landing on your heel. You want to be landing with your foot underneath your body. Now, this is going to sound funny, but being overweight might be a help for you. Why is my video freezing again? Wait, I'm going to try switching cameras and see if I can make this work. Hold that thought. I'm trying to figure out how to actually even do this with this other camera that I'm adding on here right now. Okay, let's see if this works. Hold on. Stay on target, and that doesn't seem to be working either. This is really bizarre. I'd blame it on the wind here in Colorado. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's try this other. Oh, all right. Now we got a camera again. Totally confusing. Okay, so research from Heather Vincent in Florida has shown that people who are overweight tend to have better form because, frankly, having bad form is harder. But I'm going to answer your question with one other thing that's maybe even more helpful. Got to go to the website to find the link to it, and I'll put it in here, which is a video that I made about how to, oh God, how funny, about how to walk properly or naturally is a better way of putting it. And so let me throw this in the chat really quickly, or as a response to you. Let's see, reply, and check this out. Check out the video about how to walk. All right, so hopefully that will help. All right, I'm going to scroll back up because there's some other comments. There seem to be very limited waterproof shoes for Seattle weather. Well, we have a number of waterproof shoes. Just depends on what you're looking for. We don't have like casual shoes. We have, I think every one of our hiking boots comes in a waterproof version. I don't have them all here. So like this is our Scrambler. It's our this is the Scrambler Mid. This is the waterproof Scrambler Mid, for example. And this is actually rated one of the top trail running shoes because it's so flexible and lightweight. So the Scrambler has a waterproof version. The Mesa Trail had a waterproof version. Oh gosh, I can remember. We have another Scrambler. Anyway, if you look at the trail shoes or the trail running stuff, you'll see a bunch of waterproof stuff. And then, we have a fully waterproof boot. So actually, I take it back. Some of our boots, other boots are waterproof too. The Ridgeway up here, that blue one right there, that's waterproof. So poke around, especially in the trail side. And even something like our Denver boot, it's not waterproof per se, but it's leather. And so that's helpful in some ways, especially if you treat it. I know I'm forgetting some, but poke around. And again, if you have any questions about refining that, call the customer happiness team because they're better at remembering this stuff than I do, or than I am. Insp9100 says, I really appreciate what you do. I'm using Xero Shoes since the initial release. Well, thank you. I really appreciate you doing that today. So I had a feeling when you started talking, it would be about the new Nikes. We were talking about it on a forum. I suspect many new products, they will get canceled after a year. Yeah, I think it might be like totally a PR thing, but you never know. It is crazy. And there, to Insp9100, the Denver leather treated with balm does a good job in winter. And Ginger says, thank you, and you are welcome. Again, apologies for the technical things. I didn't even see on my computer, the little camera light did not go off. So I couldn't figure out why it froze or why it disappeared, but no complaints. Here we are back again. What else can I tell you? Today is pretty much the last day where we can, if you order, where we can do our best to get you things by by December 24th. So if you want to do a last minute Christmas thing, jump over to xeroshoes.com and we'll be able to help you out there. What else? We have a bunch of really cool new things coming out in the spring. I was just at a big trade show for footwear, and it was fascinating hearing, like, other than this Nike Mind project, that there are some other companies that are, really thinking hard about what we've been doing for the last 16 years. And some people came up to me, some industry experts, and said, you guys helped create a brand new category, this whole natural movement, minimalist, barefoot, however you want to call it. We started this 16 years ago and have worked really, really hard. And happily, people are starting to get the hint. And mostly it's from those of you who have Xero Shoes, who've been willing and able to talk to people who stop you on the street to say, hey, what are those? Or say, are those Xero Shoes? I think I saw them on Shark Tank. Or they also have Xero Shoes and you guys have a little fun party, which happens to me all the time. So again, if you have any questions, don't need to stick around here for long. If you don't have questions, we can just enjoy each other's company, and then I'll let you get back to whatever you're doing in the, oh my gosh, the 9 days before Christmas. Holy smokes. More waterproof shoes for rainy weather, please. Again, any requests, go to xeroshoes.com/feedback. And I know we do have more coming out, but here's the thing. I got to tell you this. I'll say it this way. Human beings, we have this very interesting hobby. We think of things and we assume that because we can think of them, they're easy to do. And we talk to people who are doing them and we say, well, here's an idea. Just do that. Why don't you just do that? And I'm not saying that's what you're doing in SPE, but it happens a lot. And the reality with footwear is it takes a long time to make things. The gist is, if we're making something from scratch, it can take 12 to 18 months to develop it and make wear test samples and get them on people's feet and see if the design is correct and if the function is correct and if the manufacturing is correct. Even if all we're doing is making a new color, we have to do that at just the right time, and that can take a couple of months. So, and the other issue for us is we are not a multi-billion-dollar company with tons of money behind us. So we have to be very, very judicious about the things that we do, because every decision we make can either make us more money or not make us enough more money to justify growing next year. So it's a tricky, tricky balance. No company has ever gotten it right. And man, does it make our heads explode. How's the tariff situation now? Well, happily, it hasn't changed in a little while, which is unusual because it was going, whoa, 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 whoa. I was at a trade show and some of my friends were there. They had literally paid the 145% tariff. And then the next day is when it got lowered and they aren't getting that money back. So we have happily not been in that situation. For anyone that is curious, I will state for the record, our company pays the tariffs. There's no one else who pays them. When the product comes into to the port that we accept it in, for us to get it through the port, we are paying that money. It cost us a lot of money this year. I'm not going to tell you the number, but suffice it to say, if we had that money, we could make those shoes faster. We could grow faster. We could have more employees to do all the things that we want them to do. And it cost us a ton. In fact, I will tell you, this says a lot about who I am. In the first Trump administration, when the tariffs got kicked in, I posted in a couple of places that, I hear, according to the president, that China is paying these tariffs. We just got hit with a $500,000 bill, and I'm wondering who I should send the invoice to in China to get that repaid. It got a lot of very funny responses. So yeah, there's no question that it is the companies that have to import, and we have to import because footwear manufacturing for what we do moved overseas 50 years ago. And industry experts, again, not people who have an idea, hey, just do it here, have said to get it back here would take at least a decade and tens of billions of dollars. And frankly, if it did happen, companies our size would not get access to those factories for a long time. So I wish there were a choice. We would love to make things domestically for many, many reasons. But at the moment, unfortunately, it is literally not possible, in the same way that it's literally not possible to get a domestically made version of the devices we're using for this conversation. So anyway, that's my political speech for the day. Got nothing else on that. again, like I said, we're excited for the new year. We have a lot of really cool plans. We have meetings this week talking about said cool plans, and I'm looking forward to hearing some feedback about all of that. But if we don't have any more questions, again, I can let you, head off and have an enjoyable evening. Watch whatever thing you watch on whatever thing you watch things on. Hang out with whomever you hang out with. Eat whatever it is you eat with. In other words, have a life without having me on the screen talking to you. So I'm going to do a going once, going twice. And just a reminder, if you have any questions for our customer happiness team, you can drop them an email at support@xeroshoes.com. Or if you're in the EU, support@xeroshoes.eu. If you want to have any requests, product requests, or suggestions, go to xeroshoes.com/feedback, and they will happily hear your suggestions. And Jordan's asked if I saw the Topo Connect, and I did. And I'm not really surprised because Tony Post from Topo, he's been a big supporter of the whole barefoot thing for a very, very long time. And while it's technically 5 mil, it's a bit of a misnomer, but it's a nice shoe. It's a nice casual athleisure shoe, and I'm thrilled again that he's doing that, because as that starts to happen, it just brings more validation to what we're already doing. And there's always a place for competition. Like way back when we were trying to raise money, just getting the company, after we had just gotten the company started, somebody said to me, "Isn't this just like a marketing play because other people, can make things like this?" I went, "Yeah, I hear there's more than one company that makes refrigerators, cars, desks. I mean, everything that you own. So there's always a way to make it work. And if there's competition, that's because there's demand for it and people want it. If there's no competition, then there's a pretty good chance you don't really have a market." So happily, we have a market that's getting even better. Inspired, talking about money, what happens to the stock that is bought for initial investors? Well, you have to email investor@xeroshoes.com, and they can give you that info about how owning. We did an equity crowdfunding raise back in 2017, and they're the ones who can tell you. I'm legally not allowed to say anything about stock in public. So suffice it to say, they'll give you all that info. Investor@xeroshoes.com. Frederick, and men hemp shoes. So we actually did a hemp canvas shoe at some point, but again, feedback or questions about product, go to xeroshoes.com/feedback and leave that as a suggestion. Is the X1 doing well? That's our basketball shoe. Well, it's doing well enough that we have about, I think, 5 teams where the trainers and coaches are having their players train in our shoe, the X1, for everything they're doing other than on the court, basically helping them get strong enough and know how to wear that shoe, how to use that shoe, so that they can get on the court. And our Isaiah Stewart from the Detroit Pistons wore it all last season, wearing it all this season. Tammy Fig-Bentley from the Golden State Valkyries, she's now been playing overseas. She's been wearing it. There are a couple other players on the Clippers who we're not paying them. They just like it so much. They're wearing it. So we're getting a really, really great response. And we've got an updated version coming out that I'm really excited about. And even more excited, there's some research that's going to be done in the not too distant future about basketball shoes that we're going to be a part of. And it's going to blow people's minds. So when that research comes out, and it's not going to be for, oh man, I don't know when I know when the research is happening, and I don't know how long it's going to take for them to publish the results, but suffice it to say, I predict it's going to upset the apple cart in a big, big way. So we'll see. All right. So those are the comments that are questions that have come in. I'm going to wrap this up and let you guys get back to your evening, and I'm going to do the same. We've got some big meetings this week that I got to do a bunch of prep for. So once again, like I said earlier, I can't thank you all enough. When my wife and I started this company 16 years ago, we never imagined we'd be here 16 years later, let alone having helped millions of people discover the comfort, the fun, and the benefits of natural movement in a pair of Xero shoes, or just walking around barefoot. Frankly, we never expected that we would have inspired many, many new companies to come along and also provide products that are similar to ours. Again, just helping raise the tide that we're all floating on. And we can't be more grateful than we are to all of you who are watching, listening. If you are new to Xero Shoes, that's just great, because we love that you've gotten hip enough to check this out. And if you've been with Xero Shoes for a while, can't be more appreciative of how you shared what you've experienced, because almost half of the orders we get are from existing customers who say once they do this, they just don't want to go back to other things. And out of the remaining half, a big chunk of those are people that you've bumped into, friends and family and strangers, and shared the information about the experience you had getting out of normal shoes and into something that lets your body do what it's made to do. So thank you, thank you, thank you. As always, just one thing I can say is